Good morning, everybody. This is Paul Cole from Profit Bandit and SellerEngine software, and today we're here to talk about secrets for easy product sourcing. This is a webinar for Profit Bandit subscribers, and I'm really excited for everyone who took time out of their Friday morning or afternoon to join us. So let's get started. Secrets for easy product sourcing by Profit Bandit. I hope I didn't get anybody too excited looking at that first screen. I just wanted to make it clear that there are no secrets to easy product sourcing. Product sourcing is hard. Finding new profitable products is not easy. There are no secrets to it. It requires hard work. There's no magic formula. There's no super simple secret way to develop a really great inventory. So I just want to say that up front, and I want to say that after today's webinar, you will not have a list of items to rush out and buy. I'm not here to share the hot items for the season. I'm not here to tell you what the next Chickle Me Elmo or Tamagotchi or whatever hot items are going to be next Christmas. But what I am going to try and do today is I'm going to try and talk to you about some methods for building a profitable and diversified inventory for your Amazon business. And I hope that after we're done with this presentation today, that you're going to be able to think more critically about the sourcing methods that you use, and you'll be more aware of the profitable opportunities around you. And I hope that's something you're all excited about hearing about, because that's what we're going to start doing right now. On today's agenda, I'm going to talk to you about some really basic, simple things you can do to lower costs and increase profit. Then we're going to talk a little bit about online product sourcing and research, because I feel like that's a hot topic that I hear a lot of sellers asking about. And then finally, we're going to end by spending a good amount of time talking about ways to diversify your inventory through wholesale or other opportunities for creating a healthy inventory. And when I say healthy, I mean an inventory that's profitable, that's sustainable, that you have access to and can continue to sell, and a way of growing your business that's scalable, that you can keep doing and doesn't totally wear you too thin. These two things are things that I hope that everybody who's listening here already knows about. The first one are rewards credit cards. If you're buying inventory with a credit card, make sure you're getting good rewards. It seems like a simple little idea, but it can really add up. If you source a lot at Target, for example, I think the Target Red Card gives you back up to 5% or 10%. I think it's 5% on Target sales. And if you save 5% on your cost of goods sold, that's extra 5% on your margin. And I've also heard people like the Chase Sapphire card. Maybe people can come on the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ProfitBandit, and we'll talk about the credit cards they like, because I like to hear about what rewards people are using. But take advantage of that. It really is free money if you're paying it off every month, which you should be, or which you hopefully can do with your business. And then in a way, the second thing that I hear a lot of people not too aware of are the tax-exempt certificates. If your state has sales tax, my state, Oregon, doesn't, but the state where I grew up, Florida, does charge 7 or 8%. But if you're a reseller, you can get a certificate that lets you avoid paying the sales tax because you're going to be reselling the items. You can apply for this through your state's Department of Revenue. Just Google your state and sales tax exempt certificate. And those are two ways. One, that you can lower your initial cost, and a way that you can get some money back in your pocket just for buying the items you're going to buy anyway. And if you're not doing those two things, I hope that if you do nothing else, you go out and apply for a great business. You look into business credit card options with good rewards. A good website to visit is reddit.com/r/churning, CHURNING. They'll talk to you a lot. That site has got great info on the best rewards cards and the best ways to get sign-up bonuses. Don't worry about missing any of these URLs that I'm saying. I'm going to send out an email to everyone who registered with a video of this, as well as a list of links for all the links that I'm mentioning. And then the flip side of the profitability coin is raising your prices. A good way to get the highest possible price for your item is to minimize the competition. And another great way is just to raise your prices as high as they can go. Even when you're competing with other sellers, having the lowest price isn't necessarily the best way to maximize profit. We'll probably talk about that in a future webinar about repricing, because we do that with our other software here at SellerEngine and Profit Bandit. But today I just want to mention product bundles. Bundles are when you combine two items and sell them as one ASIN. Make a new product page, and instead of having, for example here, instead of having a baseball and a glove and sell them separately, you put them together and create a new ASIN. And the trick with this is that if you create hard to copy bundles, like a hard to find baseball glove or a hard to find baseball, or two things, one of which is really common and really popular, and one which is a little bit harder to find but complements that main product, they can be really hard for other sellers to copy, and you have a very good chance of being the only seller for that item. One caveat is that you will need your own barcodes. You'll need to create a brand new barcode if you were to create this ball and glove set. But barcodes are relatively easy to get. They're cheaply available on eBay, and there's a handful of sites we recommend, and I'll send you all a link to that. One thing that you can't do is you can't combine media items in a bundle. The main item in a bundle can't be a DVD, movie, book, etc. Amazon's classic example is that you can do a yoga mat with a yoga DVD, but you can't do a yoga book and a yoga DVD. And also you have to combine two, you can't combine two of the same item. That's called a multi-pack, and that's something you can't do. If you're going to try and sell two baseballs at once, you need to do it as a multi-pack, not as a new bundle. Bundles, I think, are a really great and really underutilized way to increase profit, because they are hard to copy and they do give you a chance at being the only seller for a really popular item. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about online research. This is a kind of a new field to me because I'm much more used to going out into the stores and scanning and scouting with Profit Bandit. But I've got three things to talk about today. The first one is called Keepa. The second one is the Grommet. And the third one is Kickstarter or Indiegogo or any of those other any of those other backing sites. Keepa is an Amazon price tracker similar to Camel, but it's got a really cool browser plugin that I really like. And the Grommet is supposed to be a site for undiscovered products. And hopefully that'll give you an idea of items that may be getting popular soon. And finally, you all know what Kickstarter is, hopefully. It's a great way to see what items are really catching the public's interest. You can really find some great ideas for what might be hot items on Amazon by looking at the hot items and the highly backed items on Kickstarter. Keepa is available as a browser plugin for Chrome and Firefox. It's kind of like Camel, but not exactly. And if you look at this screenshot here, you'll see that when you open a product on Amazon, you get the actual price history right on the same screen, so there's no switching back and forth between different windows. And I think that's a really cool thing. And if you use this when you're looking online at products, you can see, especially on Amazon, you can see when something's dipped or when it's increasing in price. So if you're looking up items on Amazon that you might be interested in carrying, keep an eye on their price history, and that's something we really recommend you do. Second, the Grommet. I went there yesterday and took this screenshot of an olive oil mister. And one thing I recommend that you always do when you're researching online is take a little bit of extra time and extra effort to look a little bit beyond the obvious ways of selling an item. Like here we can see on the upper right, this is the item on Amazon.com and it's selling for $18.20. But on Amazon.co.uk, it's selling for nearly $40 US. And this is one of those times when if you're an international seller you would really, really benefit, because you would see the ability, you'd have the ability to sell this item very profitably on Amazon.co.uk when it's not really a hot item on Amazon.com at all. And that kind of takes me into something I want to talk about a little bit about, is international selling. Does anybody here source in the US and sell on Amazon.co.uk, or vice versa, or source in one country and sell on another Amazon marketplace? That would be a great topic for a whole nother webinar, and I'd love to talk about that a little bit more. But let me just say that if you've never experimented with selling on Amazon.co.uk or Amazon, any of the other Amazon sites, it's a lot more profitable and a lot easier than you might think. So even if you're not able to find new products, which is what we're going to talk about later in this webinar, in today's webinar, by taking the items you have now and researching them on other Amazon venues, you might find some real profitable items on your hands that could be sold internationally. And finally, Kickstarter. Kickstarter is good for two things. It's good for looking for items that are hot, looking for items that are really popular. Two, it's a great way to connect directly with product creators and get good deals on bulk purchases, becoming the first person to carry things on Amazon. It can sometimes be tough to get directly a hold of product creators, but on Kickstarter, they're really available to you. And there's a Kickstarter link that I'll share with everybody in an email that shows the highest backed items. This orange thing here, you can't really see it on this little screen, but it's a new kind of cooler that is really popular right now. It's being made in Portland, where I am. And you could just send an email to the creator, say, hey, I want to sell these on Amazon for you, and maybe strike a deal that would be really profitable for you. Here's another online sourcing tip. Has anyone ever used AliExpress Pro? It's a service from Alibaba where here in the US, you can submit a request for a product. You can say, I want to create a new product, and some of AliExpress Pro's accredited suppliers will contact you with bids. And it's a great way to start manufacturing your own items. If you've got a great idea for a product, go to AliExpress Pro. You'll be able to design and create the product. You'll brand it yourself. And when you do that, it means you're going to be the only seller of the item. It means that no one else is going to be able to copy your item because you created it. You own the item. You're the sole source of it, and you'll be the one selling it. But let me tell you that AliExpress Pro can be a little bit overwhelming. You'll get lots of quotes from lots of different suppliers in China. But honestly, if you persevere and follow through and select and screen the suppliers, talk to them, find out what they can offer, I think you can find a lot of success in having products manufactured in China and sold on Amazon. Now we're going to start talking a little bit about diversifying your inventory. Having a niche is a really, really great thing. I hear from so many sellers on Amazon who are say that they sell toys, or that they sell books, or that even sell something as like narrow as they sell keychains or something very specific. And that's really great. That's really, really great to be an expert in a really narrow field and really understand that market. But it can be limiting because the market's always changing, trends change. Amazon can come in on one of your items and start selling it unless you own it. You never know when Amazon is going to start taking some of those sales from themselves. And if you diversify your inventory, then you're really able to have more stable sales, and you can predict the future of your business, and you can be more stable, more successful, and it's also really great opportunities to grow. And now we're going to start talking about some of the baby steps you can take. The one step at a time. Don't think of, you're not going to transition your business. You're not going to totally change your business overnight. But by taking a few baby steps, you can really start to see changes in your business and growth in your profits and in your sales and in your bottom line. And that's what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to talk a little bit about expanding your product knowledge. We're going to talk about approval for gated categories. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the local sourcing opportunities that many sellers overlook. We're going to talk a little bit about thinking outside the big box. We're going to talk about attending a trade show. And then we're going to give you some tips on how to get your first wholesale account. So if anybody has any questions about these as I go along, just stop me and I'd be happy to answer them. The first step to diversifying your inventory is to build your product knowledge. Challenge yourself and push yourself. I'm talking about Profit Bandit here. One of my biggest recommendations to both new and experienced sellers is to scan everything. If you're used to going to a store and heading right to the clearance aisle or right to the toy aisle and scanning there, on your next trip, do something different. Go to a completely new section of the store and start scanning everything. Your goal should be to make yourself uncomfortable. You want to discover new things. You don't want to be in the same old ruts and routines. Your goal is to make yourself uncomfortable. This is something I tell everybody. If you're never surprised by the result of a scan, you're not scanning enough items. If when you pick an item up and scan it, you know that it's going to be profitable or not profitable, if you always know right away, then what's the need to scan it in the first place? Profit Bandit should be used as a tool on the items where you're not sure, where it's borderline, where you're not sure what's going to happen, where you don't know if this DVD is going to be worth it, where you don't know if this home and garden item is going to be worth it. So I hope the next time you go out and scan, you scan a lot more items and you try and surprise yourself with some of the results. And hopefully you'll surprise yourself in a good way and discover some items that you normally would miss. Gated categories. We talk a little bit about gated categories on the SellerEngine blog, and of course I'll include that link in an email to all of you. Gated categories are categories where Amazon restricts the category to approved sellers. For example, if you want to sell in grocery and gourmet foods, you have to ask Amazon for permission. And that's a pretty new change, and it's a big one. And if you're not approved for any gated categories, start with grocery for two reasons. One, it's not that difficult to get approved in my experience. Lots of sellers have been having success with it because it is a new category. You don't need an online web store. You don't need great product pictures. You basically just have to tell Amazon that you're interested in doing it and what you're going to be selling, and they'll either approve you or come back with more questions for you. The second reason that I recommend starting with grocery is that everyone has a grocery store near them and that lots of great grocery items are out there. There's a lot of really profitable grocery items. And a big reason for that is because of regional products. I live in Portland, but there are still products I missed from Florida. It's impossible for me to get them except by going on Amazon. And there are literally tens of millions of people, just like me, who want things they can't find locally. And all you have to do is be in the right location and find the products that are popular regionally and sell them on Amazon to the people like me who can't get to a store anymore, who can't get to those local stores to sell or to find the items. Looking locally. This is something I think a lot of sellers overlook. Thought we had a question there, but I guess not. Sorry about that. We're talking about farmers markets and craft shows. These are things that a lot of sellers overlook. Farmers markets and craft shows are great, great opportunities to find items that aren't already being sold on Amazon. You want to go to the farmers market and look for those niche grocery items that are really hot. Like think about like local honeys, for example. Any kind of pre-made local products that you can get directly from the creator or the manufacturer is a fantastic opportunity to sell on Amazon. And the same goes for craft shows. People all over the country are making really cool, really amazing handmade items that aren't being sold on Amazon. And lots of people say to sell this sort of thing on Etsy, but Amazon has a much bigger audience. Um, you know the Amazon marketplace, and it's a great place to sell. Of course, if you're going to be selling new items on Amazon, you're going to have to get barcodes and go through a couple, like create the new product pages. But that's honestly a very small price to pay. Today's Friday. I would encourage everybody who who's listening today to find a farmer's market in their area tomorrow or on Sunday or a craft show, and to go out and just find a craft show to visit and to find a new item to sell at that show or that farmer's market. And thinking outside the big box. So many sellers that I talk to spend all day in Walmart or Target or Kmart or Sears or JCPenney or Toys R Us. And there are so many other stores out there that are fantastic sourcing opportunities that are not traditional big box stores. I don't have a real, like, my favorite place to go to look for items are international markets. And 3 reasons. 1, they have lower prices than Target and Walmart and other big box stores. If you go to a halal market or to a Japanese or Chinese market, in Seattle, for example, in Portland, there's a store called Uwajimaya. It's a huge Asian supermarket, amazing variety of stuff, lots of fantastic grocery and household items that are nearly impossible to find in the US. You're not going to find them at Walmart or Target or Publix or Food Lion. You're only going to find them in these specialty international markets, and the prices can be really, really low. And those are 2 great things. The third thing makes it even better. These items have very, very loyal followings. Think about like popular brands of hot sauce, spices, snack items from Japan. You wouldn't believe how many flavors of Kit Kats they have. Just start scanning and looking at international markets is just one example. I've got a question from Abe that I'll take now. I'll take a look at. Abe's got a really, really great question here that I'm going to stop and answer. Abe asks, I've been told to stay away from products that don't have a good product ranking. How do we create a demand for a new local product we might find? Excellent question, Abe. There's a couple things you can do. 1, you're going to want to create the product page with really great pictures. Experiment with the keywords and description because you want the item to be searchable on Amazon. Ask friends in other parts of the country to search for the item and see if it comes up for them. And also be willing to sell the item at a loss or at a break-even point in the beginning to try and get a few sales. This is kind of in a gray area, but if you sell the item at a low price and you can tell your friends about it and say, hey, order this item from me at a low price. And if you get a couple of sales, you can start to see that sales rank build. And then you can raise the price once it gets a little bit more popularity. But that's a really great question, Abe, and I'm going to answer that a little bit more in depth on the SellerEngine blog when I've got some more time to think about that. But it's an excellent question. Basically, you want to build a great product page with beautiful pictures. You want to use the right keywords, write a really nice description, start off by selling at a low price, being willing to accept a loss or a break even on the first few sales in order to build a sales rank. Great question, Abe. Now we're going to talk a little bit about trade shows. Has anybody here ever been to a trade show? If not, I think that they're a great way to, even if you don't buy anything, go there and to learn about learn about what's on the market. Trade shows are really easy to attend because honestly, they're everywhere. If you live anywhere near a hotel with a conference room or anywhere near a decent sized city, you're going to be able to find a trade show for some industry. And every industry has a trade show. And people ask me how to find trade shows. And I wish there was some secret way to do it, but the best thing to do is just to Google the nearest big city to you, trade show, and the name of an industry. And here's what you should be doing at trade shows. You should be finding profitable items, bring your scanner, scan the items that bring Profit Bandit or whatever you're using to scan everything as you walk up and down the aisles, and look for the profitable items just like you were at a store. Start networking. Make friendships with product manufacturers or distributors, because they're the people that are going to help you get really great prices, and they're going to help you. They're going to be the ones that are going to help you actually get the products in your hands to sell. And use your trade shows as an opportunity to research. Oftentimes, you can get price lists at trade shows, but what you really, really want is you should get a spreadsheet, an Excel file, and if you use some of our other software like SellerEngine Plus, you can just upload that spreadsheet into SellerEngine Plus, and it'll do all the product research work for you. And it's a really handy way to instantly evaluate a ton of products from a spreadsheet. So if you can, when you leave a trade show, get sales rep and get their names, and get them to send you a spreadsheet of their products, and use SellerEngine Plus or another tool to check it out. If you have questions on how to do that, just email me, support@profitbanditapp.com, and I'll talk about it with you. But this is just another one of those things that every Amazon seller who wants to grow their business should be doing. You should be attending trade shows, finding new products, and finally, wholesale opportunities. This is probably the question I get asked by more Profit Bandit users than anything else, is how do I get started with wholesale opportunities? And trade shows. Start there. Go to a trade show. Another great tip I have is to sell what you know. If you're a fisherman or a hunter, then you know the products that fishermen and hunters want to buy. If you play tennis, you know the gadgets and tools that tennis players want to buy. That's where you need to start. If you really love a product, contact the manufacturer, say you're interested in becoming a dealer for them, and just see what happens. Try and develop a relationship. Also, use your personal network. Ask around. Ask if anyone knows anyone who works for a manufacturer or a distributor of products. Salespeople want to make sales. They're there to help. They're there to help you buy products from them. If you let people know that you're interested in buying things wholesale, someone's going to be able to help you out. Don't be shy about this. Ask people, let them know what you're interested in, and also be willing to start small. Do not expect to be able to become a distributor for Lego or a huge brand in the beginning, or maybe ever. Start with smaller, local, regional companies, or even national companies that have lower requirements for becoming a dealer. And if you can't work directly with a manufacturer, start with distributors who distribute products from a variety of manufacturers. Their sales reps are some of the best people to work with, because oftentimes manufacturers will have requirements like a retail storefront, or 10 years in business, or $1 million in sales per year. But the sales reps of these distributors often have the ability to work around those limits, and if you're friendly to them, they can really, really help you out. And that's just a great way to get started with wholesaling. I went pretty quick there today, so we've got a little bit of time for your questions. Does anybody have anything? I'm not seeing a lot of questions today. I hope I've been able to answer everything that you were interested in. I hope that all of you learned something today. I'm going to give you another maybe minute or two to ask a few questions. If you don't have any questions now, but you think of something later, email me at support@profitbanditapp.com. And be on the lookout, probably a week from today, I'll send an email out to everyone who registered with a link to this video, as well as URLs of the sites that I mentioned during the webinar. Thanks a lot for your time today. Thank you very much for subscribing to Profit Bandit. and be thinking about what you want me to talk about next month. Right now, based on your feedback, we're probably going to be talking about repricing, pricing strategies, and winning the buy box. But I'll send a poll out to everybody, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more feedback from you. Um, oh, thank you, Tim and Wayne say thanks. And no, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, everybody who attended today. I really hope you learned a lot. I love talking to you guys. I love answering your questions about Profit Bandit. I really love helping you guys grow your Amazon businesses. And thanks a lot for taking time out of your Friday to meet with me today. And I'd love for all of you to write me an email so we can talk more. Thank you, Munir. Thank you all for attending. And I will talk to you all next month. Have a great day.